looking into Australian partner visas, then you should watch Partner Visa Secrets. Partner Visa Secrets is a completely free online partner visa training course delivered by myself, Martin Salvo from Salvo Migration, to teach couples just like you everything you need to know about Australian partner visa requirements. In fact, the purpose of the training is to teach you the secrets about Australian partner visas, requirements and options, and what you need to be doing right now in order to get your application approved without needing to engage an Australian lawyer or agent. So why don't we jump into the course and I'll show you exactly the types of things you're going to learn by watching Partner Visa Secrets. The graphic that you can see in front of you now is what we call the partner visa puzzle. And the intention of the graphic is to give you a visual representation of the different pieces that you or us as immigration professionals or anyone really that's preparing a partner visa will require in order to maximize the likelihood of a partner visa being granted. Now, there are certain components, certain pieces that everyone needs. Now, there's what I would say are conceptual pieces, and then there's practical pieces. Now, we've designed the content delivered to you in Partner Visa Secrets to cover each of those pieces. So we've broken Partner Visa Secrets into 3 modules. Module 1 covers ensuring that you are aware of the visa options and strategies, and importantly, understanding the legal requirements. So that's the first step really for anyone that's researching or looking into Australian partner visas. It's understanding really what the requirements are, what does the law say, and what are couples required to prove in order to meet the requirements of the partner visa. So it's not just about showing your marriage certificate. It's not just about showing what's listed on the department website even. It's about really understanding the core requirements and how to strengthen your case, which links us to module 2, and that is knowing how to strengthen your case. Now, there are particular things that we recommend to any couple that either we work with or coach or speak to in order to ensure that they are strengthening their application as much as possible, either prior to lodgement or during the processing of an application, in order to hopefully reduce processing speed, but also hopefully increase the likelihood of their visa being granted by the department. And lastly, module 3 is intended to give you the practical pieces, the practical tools that you will need in order to be able to prepare your own application confidently and safely. So there's certain pieces in the practical side of this puzzle, and that's understanding what department forms need to be completed, how to comprehensively organize and rename your documentation, and importantly, giving your application ongoing support and attention, because it's not just about submitting your paperwork to the government and that's the end of the job. Unfortunately, there is a waiting time, an uncertain waiting time with any application lodged to the Australian government, and it's important that you continue to support your application and strengthen your case until a decision is made. So that's the partner visa puzzle, but now let's look into some of the slides that I'll be working through in each of these individual modules. So this is a sneak peek at module 1, and this really is just a handful of slides that I've taken from everything that we're going to teach in module 1. Module 1, I believe, has over 70 slides. We do like to use visual graphics when it comes to teaching partner visa content, and anyone who might have seen some of our content on YouTube and other social channels will probably be familiar with our teaching style. But you'll see here some examples of some of the slides in module 1. Now, the slide on the left is understanding the partner visa phases. There's different phases that a couple will go through in preparing their application. There's the research phase, there's the preparation phase, there's what I would say is the pre-lodgement phase, which is basically like your final checks prior to submitting your application, and then it's the post-lodgement phase, and we'll expand on all those different phases in module 1. We then go into looking at the actual sequence of events and what does it look like to prepare a partner visa application. What do you need to create? What type of account do you need to create with the department IMI portal? What are the steps from there? What types of documentation and correspondence can you expect to receive from the department? So we actually show you behind the scenes each step that's involved in preparing a partner visa application. Another slide that you'll see there is what we call processing time factors. And in that slide, I'll break down what we believe to be the 6 most important processing time factors. So what are the 6 things that really influence processing speed with the Department of Home Affairs once a partner visa is submitted? And another slide there is a visual demonstration of typically the different types of situations couples will find themselves in. Now, typically a couple will either be living together here in Australia, they might be living overseas together, or they might be physically apart. And then from there, we look at the different visa options and strategies for couples depending on which of those scenarios they fall into. That was module 1. In module 2, we're going to look at the 4 aspects. So it's part of partner visa criteria is really deeply understanding what the 4 aspects mean and what it is to prove the 4 aspects to the department. We talk about what it means to be collectively assessed in order to prove you're in a de facto or married relationship. We look at each individual aspect in granular detail, and what we introduce you to is something we call weight scores, and understanding that your 4 aspects will be unique to you. The scenario that you fall into in each of those aspects will be unique to each couple. You may be living together by yourselves, you may be living with family, you may be renting, you may be owning. There's all these different scenarios that couples might fall into, and then we'll look at recommendations that we typically give to any couple in order to strengthen each of those aspects individually, which therefore leads to a better prepared and better evidence application as a whole. And in the other slide there, you'll see the tipping of the scales, and what that's meant to visually represent is the idea that what you want to do is strengthen your application, strengthen those aspects, which we'll explain how to in this module, in order to tip the scales in your favor, so that when your application is submitted, you and your partner can demonstrate you are in a de facto or married relationship for those applying for certain partner visas, or that you intend to marry for those applying for a different type of partner visa. And we'll compare the differences. What does it mean to tip the scales? What do you need to have in your side of that scale in order to tip it in your favor? And lastly, in module 3, I suppose we get into some of the fun stuff, and we start to look at the differences between improving your facts and proving your facts. So there's 2 parts of really preparing an application. The first is taking the time that you have as a couple to improve your facts, strengthen your facts, but then at the same time knowing how to prove them. Okay, so it's one thing you telling the government you have certain facts in your relationship and that you've strengthened them in some way or another, but the other component to that is proving what you're saying, and we'll talk about how to do that. Really importantly, we also dive into what I call the secret pillars of strength, which really in simple terms is a condensed list, a condensed checklist, if you will, of the 10 most important documents that we always work with our couples to ensure we have in place before a partner visa is applying for. So if you'd like to know really what it is that you should be trying to collect as a couple prior to applying for your partner visa, that's what we work through in the secret pillars of strength component of module 3. In another slide there, you'll see another puzzle metaphor. I hope what's coming across is I do like to teach using metaphors and graphics, as I said earlier. And this partner visa metaphor is, it's there to help you understand that you need to prove something to the government. You're trying to prove your relationship at a certain level. It's not about proving you are dating. It's not about proving that you are mutually exclusive. It's about proving that you meet certain requirements. And that is typically either that you are in a de facto relationship, a married relationship, or you intend to marry. And think of it as like a picture. You're trying to cover that picture with the pieces of your relationship. And some pieces will be larger than others in the sense of they may cover more of that picture, more of that document may go towards covering that entire picture. And the idea is to get as many pieces as you can to cover as much of that picture as you can, because the more you can cover, the higher likelihood you may have in being able to meet that requirement. We also dive into cool tools, so external third-party tools that I can recommend you to that will facilitate and make your life easier in preparing your Australian partner visa application. And finally, I will explain to you a money hack, a really simple way to save money when it comes to submitting and paying for your non-refundable department application charges for the partner visa application fee. So that's a really good one, and that's money in your pocket immediately. And that, guys, really was a sneak condensed peek at the different slides, the different types of graphics, the different modules, the topics, the content that we'll cover in Partner Visa Secrets. But please do understand the sneak peek that I showed you was really a handful of slides. In total, our teaching and presentation slides is in excess of 200. So there's a lot of content and really detailed analysis that we go through. And what I just showed you really was just a quick glimpse, because I didn't want to take up too much of your time in this video. If you're interested in registering and watching this training, please go to the link below and save your spot because spots are limited, and I really hope to see you inside Partner Visa Secrets. You have my promise and guarantee you're going to learn many things that you won't find anywhere else, and a lot of things that likely other agents and lawyers maybe wouldn't share with you. So please do register, and I'll see you inside.